Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Crossing the line. Police say a man from the East Coast went too far, launching a harassment campaign against an Oakland County official. Thanks for being here with us for the News at 6. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Devin tonight. The defendant, Mark Eisen, has a history of stirring things up. He recently posted an online editorial full of conspiracy theories about the LGBTQ plus community. And back in 2011, he filed a lawsuit claiming Kabbalah was a cult and Madonna owed him money. The Michigan State grad lives in Marblehead, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. But today, he was in Bloomfield Township to face charges. Pam Osborne has more, including reaction from the official who police say Eisen refused to leave alone.
It's one thing to disagree with an elected official, but the way one Massachusetts man harassed the Bloomfield Township treasurer ended up in him being extradited and arraigned right here.
It started in June. Messages from a man that I've never met.
Bloomfield Township Treasurer Michael Shostak says those messages were coming from 47-year-old Mark Eisen.
He accused him of being an operative of Hamas.
When Shostak ignored him, Eisen reportedly upped the harassment, sending defamatory emails about Shostak to other township officials and nearly 200 of Shostak's close contacts.
When he went to my family and my children through their school, that's when I went to the police.
He has no idea how or why Eisen zeroed in on him, especially since Eisen isn't even from here.
We're talking about a gentleman who laid his head down in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
Police told Eisen to stop, but he didn't. And when he refused to turn himself in, local law enforcement tracked him down, arrested him, and sent him here to face 2 felony warrant counts of using a computer to commit a crime.
We're in the age of social media and electronic mail and all of this stuff. You're still going to be held accountable for what you say and what you do.
The level and temperature of our discourse in this country has just gone off the charts.
Shostak wants everyone at home to consider there's a way to make a point without crossing a line.
I just wish we could disagree, and we're entitled to disagree and vigorously disagree, but we should be able to do it in a way that is civil and respectful and courteous.
Eisen is being held on a $50,000 bond. If he does post bail, he has to remain here in the state of Michigan. He can have no contact with the treasurer or anyone he knows, and he'll have to wear a tether. In Bloomfield Township, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Thank you. A former Detroit police officer appeared in court today charged with manslaughter in the death of a senior citizen. Prosecutors say 29-year-old Jawan Brown was on duty back in September when he was called to the Garden Bowl for help with a customer who was causing problems and potentially armed. Brown got into a verbal altercation with 71-year-old Darrell Vance. Prosecutors say the officer punched Vance, knocking him to the ground where he hit his head. Vance died weeks later. Today, the judge set a $100,000 personal bond. Brown is due back in court January 3rd.
Production resumed today at GM's Factory Zero plant after a stubborn fire there involving EV batteries. Now, we're still learning that this was the 8th battery-related incident at Factory Zero since August, according to Detroit Fire. Detroit Fire Department says it's still learning how toxic these fires can be. Sean Lay is investigating right now, and Sean, Detroit Fire was at Factory Zero again tonight.
They were, as a precaution, they were on standby as the cleanup from yesterday's incident continues. Detroit Fire telling me tonight these batteries, EV batteries, are not bursting into flame over at Factory Zero. They are finding, however, that perhaps there's some damage to batteries coming in and shipping. Yesterday was a forklift incident that sparked a fire there. They are learning a lot about this new technology, including these battery fires are hard to fight and give off toxic fumes. Sky 4 over Tuesday's 3-alarm fire at GM's sprawling Factory Zero plant that straddles Detroit and Hamtramck. 18 fire trucks, 60 firefighters were on scene for hours, putting out a fire involving EV batteries. GM stating to us today, there was an incident involving a fire Tuesday afternoon at Factory Zero. All employees were accounted for and safe. Production in most areas of the plant resumed today. Our initial investigation indicates a forklift accidentally punctured a container with battery materials, causing the fire. The investigation continues. Tonight, we are learning that this was just one of many EV battery-related fires Detroit firefighters have gone in to fight since August.
It was a 3rd alarm fire. This is probably our 7th time being over there.
7 times?
Yeah.
All for batteries.
All for batteries.
Detroit Fire Prevention Chief Dennis Hunter confirming to us tonight that Detroit Fire has been to Factory Zero for EV battery fires 8 times on these dates since August. EV battery fires take hours to put out with a massive amount of water due to what is called thermal runoff.
The runoff is a chemical reaction inside the battery.
Remember, this technology is new. DFD is working to understand what exactly they are dealing with at Factory Zero.
You know, a lot of us don't know a lot about these things because it's new, but it's coming and it's not going to stop. And so we're getting ahead of the curve. We're doing a lot of research, talking to other cities about how they deal with battery storage. When it comes to dealing with the toxic fumes, we make sure our guys are fully dressed, like yesterday, in their SCBA, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus, their bunker gear, to protect them from that toxic fume.
Back here live, in fact, Detroit Fire tells me there was a decontamination site for firefighters outside of the factory when they came out after fighting the fire. New statement from GM tonight reading, the safety of our employees is the overriding priority. The incidents referred were not all battery related and were not all fires. Importantly, all employees were safely evacuated as part of our safety procedures. We call the local fire department to ensure we have immediate help with incidents regardless of severity. Some incidents were minor and quickly contained, while other incidents required assistance from the fire department. We take each occurrence seriously with full investigations and appropriate actions to avoid further incidents. Asking GM for clarification about not all battery-related incidents. Tonight they're telling us that one, their point two in October, was a component-related issue, not a battery-related issue, but certainly DFD saying they're working with GM to limit these fires and how to deal with them. Back to you.
All right, Sean, thank you.
Drivers are celebrating a major transportation turning point in Macomb County. Today, County Executive Mark Hackel and others marked the reopening of Mound Road after a $220 million renovation. All lanes of Mound are now open between 696 and M59. Leaders say they're now seeking funds to work on Mound between 696 and 8 Mile.
The TSA says its holiday travel period kicks off tomorrow with one of the busiest days of the year, and a potentially record-setting stretch could collide with winter weather. Well, here's taking a live look right now at Metro Airport. The number of people traveling by air is expected to surpass last year's holiday season. The federal government and several airlines say this time they're prepared. It's going to be a blockbuster holiday season in the skies, according to AAA.
The thing is, more people are going to be traveling now that they ever have.
With flights near or at capacity between now and New Year's, there's pressure for airlines to keep things moving.
When we see delays, whether it be from weather or just a technical delay in getting a flight out of the gate, it impacts the whole schedule for the day.
And Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says weather disruptions could be on the radar.
We may see some bad weather impacting travel around Christmas and New Year's. FAA is working closely with airlines to plan for that possibility.
But Buttigieg says that 2023 has seen the lowest commercial flight cancellation rate in the last 5 years. And experts deem Thanksgiving, which saw some new holiday peaks for the TSA and airlines, a success.
Obviously, weather delays and cancellations are a very real thing this time of year. But I think in terms of what airlines can control, we've seen improvements, and Thanksgiving was proof of it.
Airlines indicating better preparation for the holiday rush.
We've seen in the last couple of years recovering from the pandemic, staffing shortages, training gaps, impacting not just airlines and airports, but the entire aviation industry. The good news heading into this holiday season is that an incredible amount of resilience has been added.
For the busy stretch between now and New Year's, the FAA has also opened some additional military airspace. And tonight, NBC Nightly News has special access to show you how the TSA works. Here's Tom Costello.
Good afternoon from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. We are spending a day in the life of a TSA officer, several actually, behind the scenes with the TSA, as they are now processing record numbers of travelers going into Christmas and the New Year. And guess what? They're also detecting record numbers of firearms. Coming up on NBC Nightly News, we'll talk about how many are loaded, what kinds of weapons they're detecting, why Dallas-Fort Worth is number 2 behind number 1 in terms of guns seized at checkpoints, and then how to speed yourself through a checkpoint as we're heading into this very, very busy travel week. All of that on NBC Nightly News.
All right, Tom, so nice to see that the weather is going to cooperate this holiday season versus last year. As we take a live look at a beautiful downtown Detroit, just absolutely gorgeous and nice temperatures too.
Yeah, Kim Adams is here with us now. Kim, this looks really good this week.
It really does. We are keeping an eye on airport delays, and we can tell you when there are some. You can go to our website. You can get the Forewarn Weather app. But right now, there are no delays at Metro Airport. Temperatures are in the upper 30s. Even if the weather's nice here, sometimes the hubs get bad weather, and that affects us here in Detroit, as you well know. So we'll keep you up to date on any travel changes. 38 degrees downtown. It's in the mid-30s in Mount Clemens, 33 in Pontiac, and 38 out in Ann Arbor. It's warmer than it was yesterday by 11 degrees in Lansing and Jackson, 9 degrees in Adrian, and it's 4 degrees warmer right now than it was yesterday at this same time. Tomorrow we go right back into the 40s. A little bit more in the way of cloudiness, though, tomorrow, especially in the afternoon and evening. And then we have some rain headed in for Friday that I'll talk about coming up. The other thing we need to talk about, how about these temperatures in the 50s? I'll have your Christmas Day forecast in just a few minutes.
Okay, Kim, thank you.